Another weekly update, week 4. Monday evening, since we'll go out tomorrow morning. And what have we got? Well, as always, we are going to go through our inbox, things that I've marked, which I think might be interesting just to comment on. And then we will have a look at the old YouTube channel and anything else that we think is interesting from our week. So some of you might take some little gems out of this and might not take anything, I don't know, but it seems to be going well, their weekly updates. So going back from exactly a week ago, stuff that I've tagged in my inbox. Shall we start? So the first one is we've got a visa through, so this is a good one for Manchester. So our friend Sarah, who I met ages ago actually, her and John have got their visas. Yeah, I know they watch the channel as well, so give us a shout if you're watching this. And just to let you know that that was a 7-week turnaround from Manchester. Then something else I put on, which I'm going to give you an update on as well. So it's a 7-week turnaround from Manchester. And going back to London, 3 weeks we've had one through. 3 weeks, but they're telling everybody 10 to 20 days, and it's just not 10 to 20 days. It's just not. 3 weeks was a miracle. So if you go into London, just remember, you know, hold your horses if they say 10 to 20 days. What else have we got here? Okay then, so we've got, yes, here's one that I marked. One of our clients is going through the NLV process, and they've just received funds in their account from an operation. Well, so there was if either a house sale or inheritance you can have, say for example, in this case it was an inheritance. And I marked this just to remind you that if you, in the last 6 months, if you, well, in the bank account statements you're taking to your NLV appointment, if you've got any large movements of money over 5,000 euros, then you need to justify the origins of those funds. Okay, so if you've sold a house, put all the money in the bank, it's not a problem. If you get the money in the bank the day before, you don't have to have it in there for 6 months, but you do have to prove where it comes from. Okay, and here we go. What have we got here? Yes, we had a case come in. Unfortunately, we couldn't deal with the case because it was a renewal and someone had already submitted their documents, so we could only just advise on what the best course of action was. Don't forget, we've got our renewal video there from last year, which is on the channel, and I will be doing an updated one as well. Malaga turnaround times are getting a lot better for the renewals at the moment. I don't know what's going on there, but they're coming in a lot quicker. But in this case, all the documents which were proving the financials were submitted in English with a covering letter in Spanish, and they rejected the documents because here in Spain, when you do your renewal, it's different to when you do your initial application. You'll find in many consulates around the world, they will accept the documents in the origin of the country in which you're applying without translations for the financials. They do in the UK, for example, in most circumstances. But once you're in Spain, every single document that you present to the subdelegación, if it's not in Spanish, needs to have an official translation. So if your renewal consists of an awful lot of financial documents, maybe you're getting monthly payments from a rental into a UK account, you need a rental contract and proof from the company who's managing that rental, it can come to a lot of money. So just remember that they do not consider documents in any other language apart from Spanish when you're submitting them to the government. What else have we got here? Here's a note from Jane. We should have Jane's corner actually, I think, in this, because Jane now is all over it telling me, hang on a minute, you really need to mention a few things. Actually no, we're going to do Jane's in a minute. This one we're going to do, which was something that I researched after Lara, who works for Upsticks Drive. Okay, and I'm going to get in trouble now for being a telltale. But she went for a red light, went for a red white, and even top of it, we think it was on purpose. So anyway, I did the research because the car's in my name and I'm the one that pays the insurance, so I'll get in trouble for that. If it came to me, my points and then my policy would go up. And it turns out there's a minimum of 4 points and €400 fine for going for a red light. Really is. Yeah, so you've got to be careful with red lights. All right, and that got us onto the conversation of flashing amber lights. because everybody gets confused with the flashing amber lights in Spain. It's like, can I go? Can't I go? What do I do? Especially when there's about 40 gazillion billion zebra crossings in Spain, and a lot of them have these flash amber light, green lights and red lights. Right, as a general rule, okay, green means go, as you know, but green means go and means that the crossing is on red, so pedestrians can't cross. Flashing amber means you can go when it's clear. Okay, so flashing amber means you can go when it's clear. All right, what I mean by that is that pedestrians still have a green to go, and you have to be aware that nobody's on the crossing. But if there's nobody on the crossing, you can cross. You can go in your car if it's on flashing amber, but if someone's crossing, you can't. So in these situations, cars have permission to go over the zebra crossing, and also pedestrians have the permission to cross. And there's loads of junction in Alarin like that. It confuses the life out of you, because it goes out flashing and be like, oh, I can go, and then someone walks out in front of you. Be very careful. Red obviously means stop. All right, so what have we got here? So yes, so this is number one. So we're organising some S1s for something. I thought this was quite a interesting subject to bring up, because they sent me an email that they received once they got their S1, and the email actually said, hello, thank you for your call today. You can find information about applying for the UK EHIC if you live overseas on our knowledge base, and gives you a link to it. I'll put the link below. All right, now it's a good idea, albeit you've got your S1, to come over with your EHIC, or GHIC as it's known, card, because that's going to give you temporary cover until your S1 is registered. There's always that grey area of, can I get it because I can't register my S1 until I've got my residency, and as soon as I am a resident I can't use my GHIC. So do you need temporary cover in that period? It could take a month. There's another video about S1s on our channel. We're not going to get into that now, but check it out. Here we go. Yeah, so we get a newsletter every month from Spence Clark. Spence Clark's are tax advisors here in Spain. We work, as you know, with Jeremy, who's an IFA from Spectrum. He's dealt with about 60 of our clients so far, helping them out with capital gains issues, moving pensions over, sorting out investments and stuff like that, stuff that we don't deal with. And part of the tax advice sometimes is given by this firm as well, who works closely with Jeremy. And one of the things I wanted to bring up, which won't affect people on NLV, but it might affect people who are working, but it affects everybody who lives in Spain, is that the self-employment and companies, autonomos as we're called here, self-employed, and companies registrations, tax end of year, payments are due now. Last one is today, actually, or tomorrow. Sorry, last one is today. 30th is for the Model 130, the 303 and the 390. That's tomorrow. Today, sorry. And then for the companies, it's tomorrow. But anyway, it's the end of the month in January. You get an extra few days in January to make your payments. But it's worth noting that the end of the quarters, so you've got, when you get back after the Kings, until 30th of January, right? And then you've got January, February, March. So in April, we do another one in April, and it's April, May, June. Do another one in July, August, September. We do another one in October, okay? And then it's November, yeah, so November, December, yeah, that brings you to January, right? So at the end of each business quarter, people like gestors, accountants, lawyers are always extremely busy, always busy. So when you're thinking about presenting your taxes and stuff like that, always trying or going to see a gestor about doing anything, or a lawyer about doing anything, just be aware that the last couple of weeks of the fiscal quarters during the year can be difficult times for people, because, like, for example, I know our accountant, they just park everything they possibly can until after that period. So everything that's non-urgent won't be seen. So you might have an inquiry, like now, if you have an inquiry about something on the 27th of January, most gestors are going to go park it until February. So for self-employed people, it's worth knowing the dates at the end of the quarter. And for people who aren't self-employed but are using any services in Spain of an accountant or something, it's worth noting that the fiscal calendars do affect probably what people can deal with at certain times in the year. So what else do we have? Here we go. There we go. I would love to thank Tonya and David for the photos that they sent through. They sent us a load of photos, which obviously you can see now, from the London Consulate. Our clients have been brilliant at getting back to me with a report of what's going on. We try and prepare everybody as well as possible. Obviously, that's our business. But this was a report back from Tonya and David, who went to their appointment, and they also got me an awful lot of photos as well, so I could share with you guys, so at least you get the feeling of what's going on. And they said, hi Chris, we're home from our trip. They spent an evening there before, just to guarantee they were there. Be careful of the train spikes. It's not too much of a, I think it's a good idea sometimes. If you go the evening before your appointment, if you don't know if there's going to be train strikes or something like that, there could be a problem. But anyway, everything went well as far as we know. The consulate has a message this morning to say they've received our paperwork. Brilliant. Yesterday she handed us both back EXO1 forms, an original copy of the marriage certificate and apostille stamp. We always send people 2 copies of the EXO1, but that was a pre-BLS requirement. Maybe we'll start sending people with just 1. You should definitely retain your original marriage certificate, and they should just take copies. They say they shouldn't explain why. Now, Tonya says, we stayed in Club Quarters Convent Garden, Hotel Lincoln Inn Fields. Okay, so check that out. That's obviously very convenient. There's a photo here, which is 5 minutes from Holborn Tube Station, 10 minutes from Chancery Lane Tube. So brilliant location for the BLS office block. Took us 15 minutes to walk there from the hotel, so a good place for people travelling a long distance. Price on par with Premier Inn, and the hotel was happy for us to recommend others. Our train was delayed on the way to London, so a good job we went the day before. That's what we were saying. We took in a show and made the most of our time there. Lovely. The BLS office was packed with walking people. This goes back to what we were saying. There is a non-appointment queue. We assumed, but reception took us to the front seats and called us straight over ahead of the others, and we got there 20 minutes early and we were out by 12:05. I've included pictures of St Andrew's Church, 10 minutes walk from Chancery Lane Tube, around the corner from the office. Brilliant. I'm going to give you see these photos are up here, and you just can't thank you enough, guys, for sending me this feedback, because it's just wow for everybody, you know. And another one here from David. All went well at the BLS office centre in Manchester. Arrived at 10:45, left at 10:55. Only one thing was health insurance. I explained this one had been registered and showed them the letter you sent me. They said it would be okay, but they emailed me about it. We'll wait just to see. Joan had to have a photo taken again. Don't know why a photo had to be taken again, but hey, they did that at the BLS centre. I didn't realise they were doing that, and we know that the S1 registration is fine because we've done lots and lots and lots of them, and they went with the correct documents. I did ask why and he said I don't really know why they wanted to have a new photo. What else have we got going on here? Oh, here's one. We had a Acro criminal record check which wasn't signed. Came back wasn't signed. Be careful, you won't get an apostille unless it's got a wet signature on it. There you go. So always check it. Always check it. Here's another one. So we did a EU residency this week, and just remember, if you've got an EU residency, after 5 years you switch it for a permanent residency. And people are always asking, well, what do I have to prove at that point? Well, it's exactly the same as the first registration. The first registration, you have to prove where you live, padron certificate, you've got medios de vida, ways to support yourself in Spain, and healthcare. Evidently, if you are working or self-employed in Spain, your healthcare and money should be tied in together because you'll be paying social security. If not, you need private and savings. There's loads of videos on the channel about that. But when you come to renew after 5 years, there isn't an expiry date on your EU card. You have to count forward from the expedition date, as they call it, the date it was issued. 5 years, go back and get a 10-year card and prove that all again. And what have we got here? Yeah, Euro Weekly News, we get the update from them. And one of their top articles on this week's news was the Andalusia discount car for the over 65s. Obviously, we've got a great article on our website about it, which I'll put below. Don't forget, if you're over 65 and you're in Andalusia, you can apply for the Tarjeta 65, which gives you discounts on various things. Here we go. This is one of my favourite ones. So, Robert, our client, who is in Cartagena. Well, he went to Cartagena for his appointment to do his TIE. We had loads of fun doing this visa. Fun, stress, as you always get every level. But it was lovely that they sent us a photo. They've been with Victoria out there in Murcia. We're now doing the Cartagena station as a police station as well for TIEs. That's another one that we cover in person. So literally, as you know, we cover from Valencia all the way down to Cadiz. And Robert and Tracy, they went through in there. There you are, you can see them there, very happy. And he sent me a few more photos which I'll pop up as well, which was pretty awesome to see these photos. Robert's happy he was there. And this is a lovely story as well. Ruth and Peter. Now, Ruth and Peter, next year they're going to be on their second renewal. So one of our first NLV clients come through Edinburgh, and I mean, they had a horrific experience in Edinburgh when they went. The guy was just horrible to them, or horrible to Ruth anyway. But they got through. They got here. So grateful for being part of Ruth and Peter's journey in Spain. We just, it's just for us, it's quite nice to be, as more we're going through the NLV process, more of the community of our communities together. Don't get me wrong, as I always said, we're a business, we charge for our services. There's many charities out there who don't or pretend not to, but, part of Upsticks, part of our business is our community. And it's getting bigger and bigger. And it's lovely to get messages like this. So Ruth sent me a message. In fact, Peter actually sent me a full breakdown of how he did this, which I'm going to explain in a minute. But Ruth sent me this. Now, Peter restored and registered a Norton motorbike from scratch, virtually. So it was an abandoned bike with no paperwork whatsoever. Something we probably wouldn't even touch on Upsticks Drive, apart from the fact it's not even in our area. They weren't in our area, so you definitely need to have a local contact with a local technician, a local ITV station. But he went through the whole process himself of rehabilitating this Norton, and he's just won a prize, first prize in a motor show. That's amazing. Well done. So it's not only as he rehabilitated this bike, as we call it, he's won first prize. So well done there. Big shout out to Pete. Someone's come, got on with it. Ruth has been extremely involved in some Facebook groups and in informing people about her journey. She was one of the first people also passed a driving test here before there was the agreement. Then she had a motorbike category added to her licence. So, she'd been through both stages. And she continues to be a bit of an ambassador out there, and hopefully we can be with her next year when we do her renewal, which will be the last one before permanent residency. So thanks for sending that through, Ruth. She's also been on Scott's show as well. And what else have we got? From Jane, Jane's Corner, worth telling people that they can exchange your driving licence now, no need for test. Yep, you don't need to take a test. You can exchange your driving licence as long as you do it within 6 months after you take residency in Spain. Your residency, if you get an NLV, will be given to you normally from the day of your entry stamp into Spain. Evidently, if you're a European, it's from the day of your appointment. And the last thing was just a comment from one of our clients about a letter from HMC proving that they're no longer self-employed. Is it needed? Yes, it definitely is at your consulate appointment. I just wanted to bring that up. It's as critical as a P45. So there we go. That's a little run through our emails. And now let's have a look at the YouTube channel. Well, first of all, we did some polls. And we went through them before, so I'm not going to go through them all. But the last week's poll, how did that end up? No, I can't. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I think it was actually Neil who gave me the idea for some polls. So if you've got any ideas for polls that you want us to run, just tell me, because I'll run them. You know, see what people are saying. One of our clients gave me a few ideas. I'm going to explain one of them now. And where you'd be moving to in Spain, that I think that's closed now, or people don't see it. So after a week, it seems to stop. So the last one I did, which is where are you moving to in Spain, 49 votes. Awesome. Great. We got 29% going to Andalusia, 22% going to Murcia, 35% to Alicante, and on the others comments, drop a note where you're going to be going. Andalusia and Alicante, somebody says. Luckily I have places in both, so best of both worlds. Lucky you. Torrevieja from Robbo, that's Alicante. Malaga, hopefully that's Andalusia. Mallorca, that's in our other section. And Euskadi. So from Alistair Mitchell 7790. So there we go. People still coming over. But it looks like Alicante is a very popular area. And I started a poll today which has had 6 votes, and I realised I made a mistake in it. How long did your NRV take to be approved after your consulate BLS appointment? And we have the 1 to 3 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, 5 to 7 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, but I put 8 to 0, but everybody knows what it means anyway, don't you? Or longer than 8 weeks. 50%, 6 votes so far, so not many. He might have gone up by the time this video has been published. 50% say longer than 8 weeks. Okay, so that's just an average. So I'm telling you now, you know, this 10 to 20 day thing, or 15 to 20 day in London. 17%, so that means 3 people voted for longer than 8 weeks. And I don't know, 50%. That's, yeah, 3 people voted for longer than 8 weeks. 1 person's voted for 1 to 3, 1 for 3 to 5, and 1 for 5 to 7. Let's see how that poll rolls. It'd be good to see if that gets any traction. And last thing, just the comments on our videos. We have got, oh, food looks delicious. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do as well is do some community posts of things what I'm doing. So there's a really good restaurant we went to yesterday for Lara's birthday. It's a fish restaurant. It's a local restaurant. There's no tourists there at all, ever. And it's in Churriana, which is in a barrio of Malaga, very close to Malaga Airport. So I chucked some photos on and just gave everybody the info. So check those out in the community posts. And I put on some of our clams, which are amazing. Here we had a comment from Dean Ramser. Excellent video, thank you. We are 66 years old, retired educators from Poland and Estonia. After helping a new school open in Lviv, I hope I said that right. We are seriously thinking of selling our Portland condo and moving to Europe. Is renting a better option than owning for expats in Spain? We always wanted to own, but now But now it seems that putting the cash in CDS is wiser than purchasing a home. Plus healthcare is better in Spain than in the US. Your thoughts, Dean and Sandy? I always say that renting initially is an investment. That's my personal opinion. I'm going to give you the reasons why. I've never been quiet about that. It's because I don't think that when you come to live somewhere, the local prices of properties is the same as the internet prices. I believe that internet research is brilliant, but I think if you actually get here and speak to agents and stuff, I think there's a lot more movement for negotiation. Internet prices are sometimes inflated. I had a conversation with someone the other day and said, look, you come when you're looking on the internet to buy something, right, straight away, because you're here, you're in a rush to start with because you need somewhere to live, and you have the mentality of someone who's coming from a country where everything's a lot more expensive generally when you get to Spain. So everything to you here seems cheap. Okay, you need to get into the Spanish economy, get your head into the Spanish economy before buying a property. That's my personal opinion. It's not always possible for everybody. Not everybody could do that. Some people have to buy a property. Some people have been coming to Spain for years and buy a property anyway as tourists and now coming here to live. But generally be careful of that mentality. It happens to me when I go back to the UK. When I come back here, I was back 3 weeks, everything seems cheap again, because you're like, oh wow, 15 euros for a menu of the day. Last week it cost me 15 euros for fish and chips, so now it's cheap, you know. But you have to get involved in the local economy. Renting, albeit it is wasted money because you're just giving it to someone else, gives you a chance to do all your discovery, all your research. Some people rent knowing that if they find their ideal property, they're going to lose the deposit and break contract on the rental. I'm not advising you do that, but Yeah, it's renting. I think is a good idea to get your feet under the table, especially if you're buying inland and stuff like that, where the property prices or houses are harder to shift if you actually buy when you're not happy with it. I put some posts on about the classic car show as well, which I took my father to on Friday for his birthday. Check that out. We've got a lovely comment here from Anne Kerry. A must visit place for us. Yeah, I had a 46 Ford many moons ago. Happy birthday to Lara's last birthday. Yeah, so thanks for that, guys. Looks excellent. Thank you for sharing, Flyby. That was the video. Sorry, the food thing again as well. Peter Newbury. What video was that on though? I don't know what video these are on. Sometimes I can't tell in the comments. Oh yes, so this weekly update 3. Oh yeah, on a weekly update video. Hi, great videos. Normal on renewal, you say there are 5-month window to apply. So if you apply, say after the renewal date, will they backdate the renewal to the end process? The TIA will give you a new start date. Yes, they do. So albeit you've got that window, you'll always get your residency renewed related to the initial date that your residency started. If that makes sense. So they don't restart the clock when you submit your renewal. It'll always go back to the date your card expired, and your residency will continue from that date. Sean explained Matheron, thanks for your comment. He took me around the Matheron ITV station. I did a little video about that, and it was nice to see him. And I got it up months later, but he said hi for that. Kev the Argonaut, one of our clients now, he said he'll be at that ITV station at some point. Robbo liked update weekly 3. Alan Cares had another comment there about they made the same mistake in buying boiled eggs in the supermarket. And what else have we got here? Oh, this was a good one. Yeah, digital certificates. So a lot of problems on Microsoft Edge not working with certificate solution. Use Google Work first time. Yeah. Huge problem in Almeria at the moment with getting appointments with digital certificate, even with a digital certificate, let alone without. Phil actually got his own appointments, and he's using the digital certificate and he just couldn't get it to work on Microsoft, so he used Chrome. That's good advice. Yeah, and that was it. Yeah, I did a video about forest fires. Check it out below. Someone commented that was that in Rhodes a few people had a hotel was totally gutted by forest fires. Can't tell you the devastation. It's terrible. And that's it. So there's our weekly update. Probably rambled on a bit today because it's really late, but I thought I needed to get it done, get it out there. And yeah, thanks for watching. More videos coming out this week, and give us a comment. Let us know what polls you'd like to see, and if you've got any photos or anything like that that you want me to show on these weekly updates or any information, then please just email to me at chris@upsticks.es and I'll make sure we get them on. Subscribe, hit the bell, likes and all that business, and we'll see you again next week for our next update.